Get back to winning ways after that disappointment at Dewsbury last week and restake their claim for a top four spot, and a chance also for Borough to repeat that dramatic victory over Runcorn in the Challenge Cup when a 70-yard interception try by Mike Smith won the game. Just to run through the teams this afternoon: Borough first, fullback Mike Smith; number 2 Mike Stewart; 3 Chris Ganley; 4 Steve Donlan; 5 Dennis Litherland; 6 Dave Wood; 7 Steve Griffiths; 8 John Empson; 9 Steve Garner; 10 Carl Briscoe; 11 Ian Duane; 12 Cliff Eccles; and loose forward Simon Bamber; and the subs Jimmy Green and Bob Eccles. And for Runcorn, fullback Tommy Rawlinson; 2 Ian Smith; 3 Clive Hunlin; 4 Terry Rose; 5 Paul Durnin; 6 Kerry Gibson, of course a player who needs no introduction whatsoever to Springfield Borough; 7 Dave Crompton; 8 Glyn Shaw; 9 Steve Moylan; 10 Jeff Dean; 11 Paul Fraser; 12 Michael Glover; 13 John Cogger; and subs Eric Prescott and Chris Middlehurst. The referee this afternoon, Mr. Ray Tennant. So Borough preparing to start the match, kicking from left to right. Don't adjust your screens, by the way, it really isn't raining. I know it's an unusual sight, a dry day at Springfield Park when Springfield Borough are at home, but that's the way it is today. So Runcorn in possession straight away, and it comes out to Borough. This is Ian Duane driving towards the line. Is it a try? Yes. Well, a dramatic opening after just 18 seconds. Springfield Borough are in the lead. My goodness, straight from the kickoff, the Runcorn player dropped the ball. Ian Duane was straight in there, powering his way towards the line, and over he went. So already action in this match, and what a dream start for Borough. 4 points to 0 they lead. Well, they couldn't have asked for a better start, could they? And Ian Duane sets them on the way. So Mike Smith now preparing to add the 2 points. Lost a bit of his kicking form last couple of weeks. He'll be hoping to find it again this morning. Well, that looks good enough, and indeed it is. Touch judges Mr. Fallon and Mr. Chamberlain raise their flags, and Borough 6-0 to the good. Well, my goodness, I think that's one of the most dramatic openings we've seen in this season for Springfield Borough. Now then, what can they do now? Terry Rose restarts for Runcorn. Picked up nicely though. Empson driving forward. The 3 Runcorn players pushing back again. It's Briscoe. It's going to be a long kick upfield. Testing ball for Ian Smith, running back. Bobbles, but he has no problems. That is until he runs into Steve Donlan. Glyn Shaw. Penalty for Runcorn. I don't think they can still believe what's happened yet. Find themselves trailing 6 points to 0. And Terry Rose puts the ball into touch. Moylan puts the ball out to Dean. Dean drives forward, makes about 10 yards or so. To Gibson. Cuts inside, but Simon Bamber puts his former teammate down. Ball dropped again, and Steve Griffiths quickly in to reclaim possession. But it looks as though a player could be injured. That's Clive Hunlin. Seems to have been a great deal of pain. The referee had no hesitation there in stopping the game straight away. Of course, usually in rugby league, if a player is injured, then play continues, unless, of course, the injury is serious, and that seems to be the case at the moment. Clive Hunlin picking himself very gingerly off the floor. Certainly took a painful knock there. But it looks, thankfully, as though he's going to be all right to continue. Indeed he is. Nice gesture, little round of applause as Hunlin gets back in the line, but Borough in possession. Dave Wood puts a long ball out to Ganley. Of course, his first game here this afternoon, Dave Wood. He's come on loan, and if he enjoys his spell at Springfield Borough to the end of the season, then it could be a permanent move. Well, again, Hunlin doesn't seem to be too comfortable. We're very surprised if he stays on for the full 80 minutes. But here come Runcorn. Jeff Dean. Gibson sees the gap, goes through, looking for support. No one coming up until Glyn Shaw comes into the line. Gibson again, stoops to pick the ball up, knocks on, and it's Springfield's ball. Taken clear by Steve Garner. Offside. Some interesting names in the Runcorn lineup. Tommy Rawlinson at fullback, he's the ex-Warrington halfback. Glyn Shaw, of course, open side prop. He's had an illustrious career. Played with Wigan and Widnes after turning professional from Welsh Rugby Union. And John Cogger at loose forward, he's normally playing scrum half. Today he wears the number 13 shirt. But now trying to work a move. Away it comes to Bamba. Bamba works his way inside, he gets the ball away again to Stewart, but the referee decides it was a forward pass. Seven minutes gone, but still leading by that try after 19 seconds, scored by Ian Duane, and the conversion by Mike Smith. Perhaps a chance here for them to increase that lead. Runcorn's possession, but referee Mr. Tennant said he didn't like the scrum, so it'll be taken again. Time it's all right. Substitution, by the way, for Runcorn. Eric Prescott has come off. Paul Fraser has gone off. Here's Shaw. Gibson again. Sprinting forward, doesn't get far though. Cogger. Nice little break around the blind side by Dave Crompton. 6 tackle though. And another huge kick forward that Mike Stewart's going to take. And Paul Durnin caught offside. Taken by Stewart. As we see so often, he takes it himself from the play of the ball. Gains about 5-10 yards. Briscoe tries to take it a little further. Griffiths out to Wood. Wood across the line to Bamba. Bamba out again, but the pass is wayward. And Dennis Litherland on the far wing just about keeps it in play. Bamba again, trying to make up for his little mistake. And now Mike Smith's boot is called into action to relieve the pressure. Big kick downfield. Tommy Rawlinson takes it well, begins to move it back. Here's Shaw. Gibson again, turns it back inside and it's intercepted. And Steve Garner races away, makes it to the 25-yard line. So Borough back on the attack. Here's Griffiths, now to Wood. Smith. Bamba looking for the ball. Smith decides to take it himself and loses it. And so the moment is lost. And a penalty for Runcorn. Not getting up quick enough. Chris Ganley from the tackle. And so Terry Rose again has the chance to make valuable yards, kicking the ball into touch. Crompton, little pass to Durnin. He's short. Jeff Dean finding no way through. Moylan. No one running onto him. Cogger now. Well, mistake by John Cogger. Feel sure he was trying to chip through that and chase, but completely missed the ball. And so Springfield Borough back in possession. Here's Empson. Mike Smith again, booting the ball upfield. Rawlinson has to turn and chase, picks it up just inside the 25. But look at that, 4 or 5 Springfield Borough players all up there in a line to make sure the ball isn't moved far. Here's Shaw again. Prescott. Prescott drops the ball on the 6th tackle, and so it'll be a changeover. Well, the Good Friday crowd here today certainly making themselves heard. Here's Griffiths, dummies to Wood, inside to Bamba. Bamba leaps out of one tackle, just can't get the ball away. Griffiths again. Wood chips through, it comes off Crompton's head, but Prescott's back. Shaw. Gibson again. Sends it inside for Dean, but Dean runs into the ferocious tackling of Griffiths and Ganley combined. Well, twice before this season these two teams have met. Once in the league at Runcorn, when Runcorn ran out victors, and once, of course, in that memorable cup match when Springfield Borough won through. So honours even. And in this match, after 15 minutes, Borough still lead 6 points to 0. Well, Eric Prescott and Dave Crompton a little confused there, not quite knowing who was going to take on the move, and in the end the ball dropped to the floor. Griffiths feeds, gets possession back. And another penalty. A word out of turn gives Borough an extra 10 yards. And Mike Smith-Shuley puts it into touch. Stewart taps it to himself again, goes himself. A ploy that's been employed on a number of occasions this season. This is Empson. Wood, little dummy inside. Knocked on by Steve Moylan, the ex-Salford hooker. So a lively game so far. One or two handling errors, but some good football being played as well. So play held up for a moment as John Empson ties his bootlace, decides it's firm again, the ball goes in and comes out to Runcorn. Gibson. Hunlin appears to have recovered from the injury he picked up in the opening minutes or so. Dean. Well, Tommy Rawlinson comes into the line and Chris Ganley almost decapitates him. Referee says I'll have a word with you in a minute, but I'll just see to the injured player. And now he goes over to give Ganley a telling off. Here's Glinshaw. Crompton, well, a lovely little move, ends with a neat ball from Crompton through to Terry Rose, but the ball was forward. Unlucky for Runcorn, but very lucky for Springfield Borough. Borough's possession, but Cogger caught offside, and so it'll be a penalty to Springfield. Smith not finding touch. But Rawlinson can't take the ball on the full, puts it to ground, and so it'll be a scrum just inside the Runcorn half. Griffiths feeds out to Wood. Griffiths again to Smith. Bad pass, but Smith manages to drop on it. This is Griffiths. Ganley sprinting through. Now Donlan. Bamba. Well, Borough looking lively at the moment. The Runcorn defence certainly being tested. Smith decides to kick the ball for touch. It doesn't look a bad one. Paul Durnin picks up. Is Glinshaw. Now Dean. Sixth tackle again, so it'll be another kick forward, one should imagine. An unusual kick forward from Kerry Gibson. And the result is offside against Runcorn. I think the game in need of another try at the moment, just to liven proceedings up a little. But both defences holding firm. Empson again. Former Crossfields player, always looking for work. Dwayne still going, but not quite able to get the ball to Griffiths in support. It's put Borough in a good position though. Here's Briscoe. Bamba. Wood. No way through at the moment. Mike Smith attempts the drop goal. It couldn't have been more than inches wide. But wide it was, and so it'll be a tap out on the 25-yard line. Jeff Dean. Gibson. Ball back inside to Glover. This looks promising, but the promise not fulfilled. Again, the Runcorn pack win possession. Oh! And David Wood coming within a fingertip of pulling off an interception, but Runcorn moving the ball away again. Gibson again tries to take it himself. Jeff Dean manages to take the ball just inside the Borough half. Here's Cogger. Shakes off one tackle, just stumbles. Sixth tackle again, but Runcorn look as though they're going to run it. Good ball inside. Away it goes again to Rawlinson. Side to Smith. But Smith held short, 5 yards away from the line. And much to Borough's relief, it's their ball again. Empson begins a slow plod back towards the Runcorn line. Quite wisely, the ball poofed downfield again. But look at that again. 5 Borough players all up, all in a line. For absolute blanket tackling. Oh, good ball inside from Shaw. It's out again to Rose. Rose has Smith to beat. Cogger. Crunching tackle from Simon Bamba. Sixth tackle again. And again, a moment of indecision. Let's Steve Garner in to take possession. Every time Ian Duane has had the ball today, he's always looked likely to make progress. And now Borough moving it away. David Wood, little chip forward. Steve Griffiths is the man to chase. Oh, well, if he'd taken that cleanly, I'm sure the way would have been open past him, past Tommy Rawlinson. But manages to knock on, and so it's a scrum. But Berra still in a very promising position. Comes out Berra's ball. This is Ian Duane again, charging forward, shrugs off Rawlinson. Griffiths back inside for Eccles. Briscoe. Chip forward for Griffiths, comes off a Runcorn boot. And Jeff Dean drops on the ball. Just a half an hour gone. And Berra still leading by that solitary try and conversion. 6 points to 0. Cogger again just stumbled when the gap seemed to be opening up for him. He's still going though, and that's a good run. Smith, no problems. Takes it on the full, begins striding out back towards the halfway line. Cuts back inside. Griffiths. Eager Beaver finds his way through. Briscoe. Bamba intercepted by Terry Rose. Tries to get a ball away, still going himself. Out it goes to the left wing, Paul Durnin. But again, Mike Smith is across to make the telling tackle. But Runcorn now still on the attack to Gibson. Gibson straightens it up. Pulled down. Gets it away to Glover, but Glover can't make many yards. Shaw. Well, Shaw missed out. Prescott. Prescott. Now Gibson, little chip forward, but no problems for Steve Garner. Apart from the fact that he may have taken a heavy knock there as he picked that ball up. A little heated exchange. Magic sponge used to good effect. Put Steve Garner back to rights. And here's Empson. Bamba. Glenshaw. Important match for both teams, this one. Springfield Borough, of course, need the 2 points to keep up their challenge for a top 4 spot. While Runcorn Highfield, for many years the poor relative of the second division, well, they're challenging for a top 8 spot, and the 2 points are just as vital to them. It stands at the moment Borough 6, Runcorn 0, as Dennis Litherland takes that so well. Briscoe. Little chip for Griffiths. Wood's the man chasing, but Hunlin is the man who takes the ball. Glenshaw again. Played in so many glorious occasions. Wembley, cup finals of all sorts, tour matches, and here he is in the second division, still giving his all. Cogger. Picked up well by Briscoe. Well, the luck certainly seems to be on Springfield's side. That's twice now that John Cogger has attempted a little chip forward and completely missed the ball. Donlan takes it himself. And the referee, no hesitation whatsoever there. Steve Donlan putting a little ball forward, immediately flattened by Dave Crompton and Jeff Dean. So it'll be a penalty to Borough. So a chance maybe of Borough adding another 2 points. Mike Smith's up there. The sand bucket's on as well, and indeed the 2 touch judges instructed to take position behind the posts. So Smith already successful with 1 conversion attempt in this match, hoping for number 2, and this, I do believe, if successful, would be his 80th goal of the season. So an important kick. Again, it's got the height, the distance, and the direction. So 2 more points. Just about 2 minutes to half-time, and Borough lead 8-0. Again, Smith's boot relieves the pressure. Gibson, not for the first time in this match, decides to do something on his own. Not for the first time, he's tackled almost immediately. Well, a hint of an obstruction, but play allowed to continue as Dave Cronton breaks, but he's passed to Eric Prescott. Yards forward, so a scrum down on the 25. Fed by Griffiths again, not the cleanest of scrums, but the referee allows play on. Here's Bamba. Briscoe to Griffiths. Griffiths, a long pass out to Donlan. Here's Dwayne. This time the pass finds Smith. Rawlington scoots away, but brought down. Koga tapped it to himself, but the Borough defence aware to the situation and wrap him up quite easily. 6 tackle. It's Crompton who's going to chip forward his left foot. Smith's up there, and again the fullback proves equal to the situation as the half-time hooter goes, and a half-time Borough in a position of satisfaction. 8 points to nil they lead. The first try scored after only 19 seconds. Ian Dwayne forcing his way over after the ball lost by Runcorn. The goal was added by Mike Smith, and then about 4 minutes ago, Smith again on target with a penalty kick to leave Borough leading at half-time 8 points to nil. So the cups of tea at half-time refresh both sides, and we await another 40 minutes of action. One substitution at half-time, that was for Runcorn. Chris Middlehurst coming on from the subs bench, and he replaces Clive Hunlin. Away we go, start of the second half. Immediately, Cliff Eccles has to show that he's awake. "8-0", just to remind you of the scoreline in Springfield's favour. Here's Briscoe. And Bob Eccles just reminding me that he's come on as well, kicking a long ball forward. Of course, been out with injury for a long time. Now back to fitness and hoping to play his part in what we hope will be a victory for Springfield Borough this afternoon. Looking round, I think it's John Empson who's left the field.
The half-time substitution for Springfield is for Eccles, who has replaced John Henson.
And that's confirmed. So better now. Looking to strike early in the second half. Nice ball out to Donlan. Donlan looking for support. He finds it in Dennis Litherland. Litherland still going. Takes it to within 10 yards of the line. So better on the attack straight away in the second half. This is Wood. This is Griffiths. Out it goes. Cliff Eccles brought down. Wood again. Here's Bob Eccles. So Canberra do what they did in the first half, and that is score very early on indeed. Doesn't look like it. John Cogger picking the ball up for Runcorn. Well, considering the amount of rain we've had this winter, and when you remember how this pitch has looked in recent weeks, then groundsman David Pinch has done an absolutely miraculous job of bringing this ground into shape. Both these teams certainly appreciative of that fact. There'll be many games at Springfield Park this season when we've got to this stage and nearly every number on the back of players is clearly visible. So scrum down. Griffiths to feed. David Wood strains up. Dwayne, again, he's still going. Dwayne is clear, just stumbles, can he get it out? Yes, he's in for the try. No, the referee says it was bounced over the line. But yet again, an example of just how strong Ian Dwayne is on the ball. Almost an identical situation to when he scored that first try. Powering his way through the defence, shrugging off defender after defender. This time the ball bounced and it's back on the halfway line, and Borough have got all that work to do again. Eccles again, the kick for touch, one bounce and in it goes. Well, 5 minutes gone in this second half, but already a more purposeful look about Springfield Borough. Terry Rose again handed the job of kicking to touch, which he does not, because it's taken on the line and runs straight back at Runcorn. Griffiths picks up a bobbling ball, cuts inside, darts forward. Mistake there by Terry Rose, may live to regret it. David Wood. Ganley. Briscoe. Bob Eccles to his brother Cliff. A chip forward, this could be dangerous. But Chris Middlehurst deals with the situation competently. The ball pulled loose, the referee waves play on. Here's Dwayne again, favourite position. So Borough now on the attack. The chance starts sounding across. But the ball dropped and the referee decides it's going to be a scrum down.
Substitution now for Springfield is Jimmy Green, who's replacing Chris Ganley.
And 7 minutes into the second half, Chris Ganley retires from the field. Jimmy Green takes his place, and that'll mean changes in the backs line-up. Green immediately moves to scrum half. Steve Griffiths out to stand-off, and David Wood across to right centre. A moment for the players to get used to their new positions as a Runcorn player receives treatment. Dave Crompton eventually passes himself fit. And it's a penalty to Runcorn, which Crompton rather fluffs, and it'll be another scrum down. Here's Griffiths to Wood. And another injury. Terry Rose, I think, on the floor, who puts in a very solid tackle indeed on David Wood, and it looks as though he may have come worst off. So play held up again as treatment is administered. Play on, says the referee. Here's Dwayne. Now Cliff Eccles. Surging forward, still going towards the line. Held up just a couple of yards short. So now Borough again on the attack. As Briscoe, and it's a try. It was on the cards. Borough surging forward, one after another. Cliff Eccles held up just short. Then out it comes to Carl Briscoe, and he storms over for what could prove a very important try. It's the try that takes Borough to 12 points to 0 into the lead. And now Mike Smith with a chance to make it 3 goals out of 3. The easiest kick he's had all afternoon. And indeed he does, straight through the sticks, 2 more points. So just 11 minutes gone in the second half, and Borough stamp their authority on this game. 14 points to 0 they lead. Good, solid performance all round by Borough this, after that disappointment at Dewsbury last week. Of course, losing to the bottom club in Division 2 doesn't do anybody's confidence any good, but Borough have shown their character and bounced right back this afternoon. Here's Dwayne, scorer of one try, came very close to scoring a second. And there's the other try scorer, Carl Briscoe. Another good kick from Eccles, but an equally good take by Eric Prescott, diving full length forward. Take the ball on the full. No, Smith. Cogger. Still going, Cogger. Eventually dragged down another 25. But Runcorn take the initiative. Gibson to Smith. And a penalty for Springfield, but up for crossing. Clumsy handling there by Steve Griffiths, and it'll be a scrum down. That was good play by Borough, and Dwayne comes up with the ball. It's out to Garner. Garner's racing away. Has he got the legs? Not quite. But still on the attack. Here's Eccles. Inside to Stewart, but again the ball put to ground. Chris Middlehurst gains about 20-25 yards for Runcorn, and here comes Glyn Shaw again, driving forward. Now the other prop, Jeff Dean. Switch to the left. Cogger. He's always looked lively, John Cogger, without looking capable of making a gap. Perhaps that says something about Springfield Borough's defence today. Prescott. Gibson, chip forward towards that right wing. And Mike Stewart, no problems. And he wins a penalty for himself as well. Bob Eccles, the man again who puts the ball in touch. Something of a bonus game for this, Bob. He injured his arm a few weeks ago. It looked as though that was the end of the season for him. But here he is, very much involved in the action. Another man always involved in the action, Carl Briscoe. Jimmy Green, nice ball back inside. This looks very promising. Ian Duane still going. Duane surges towards the line. And again, he comes so perilously close to scoring a try. 3 times he's crossed the line this afternoon. Only 1 try given. This time, the referee decides he was held on his back. How unlucky can you be? But he's put Borough in a good position. A chance for them to build on this now. In it goes. Again, not the cleanest of scrums, but again, the referee says play on. Glenshaw again. Tireless workhorse, he really is. Crompton looking for Cogger. Middlehurst tries to go forward himself without much success. Crompton trying to weave a little bit of magic. And that's a good kick by Middlehurst. Not going to quite reach touch though. Mike Stewart races back and does well. Just about halfway through the second half, Borough leading 14 points to 0. And looking worth every single point at the moment. Again, Runcorn win possession from the scrum. Prescott, little dummy. Bamba sees it though. Kerry Gibson completely misses the pass and it squirts through to Griffiths. So Borough with the ball. Here's Eccles, sees a gap, races through. He's still going. Oh, and he's still going. This could be a try. Out it goes to Mike Stewart. Stewart comes inside, and what a try that was. The try of the afternoon. A wonderful move there by Bob Eccles. My goodness. It doesn't pay to write his season off, does it? Just inside his own half, he took that ball, streaked away. Left the defence standing, back inside for Stewart. Stewart looked to be stopped, but somehow he struggled free and went under the sticks. And that could be the try that kills Runcorn's hopes for good. What a marvellous piece of rugby league that was. Now Mike Smith hoping to put the icing on the cake. Bang in front of the sticks, and bang it goes over.
Springfield, Mike Stewart, and a conversion from Mike Smith.
What a positive performance this has been from Borough in the second half. They really have driven home. And immediately after that try scored, John Empson retakes his position on the pitch. Carl Briscoe retiring to the subs bench. Short little ball could cause some problems. Indeed it does. Jimmy Green caught offside. I think he knew it, the way he gingerly tapped that ball. So now Runcorn hoping to claw their way back into this game. Well, for all his power and might, there's no way through for Glyn Shaw. So Runcorn switch play. Gibson. Ball inside to Durnin. Cogger takes it himself from acting halfback. Long ball out to Gibson. Gibson tries. A hopeful pass, David Woods almost intercepting. So another 6 tackles. Middlehurst. Again Wood. Not too far away from the interception. Moylan dumped. Cogger. But this Borough tackling really is holding firm at the moment. Crompton gets it away to Middlehurst. Rawlinson. 6 tackle, not really done much Runcorn. Chip through. But Cliff Eccles manages to pat it away behind his own line, and so it'll be a dropout. Well, substitutes rather toing and froing at the moment. I think this is Paul Fraser coming back onto the pitch. Jeff Dean for Runcorn having just left. No, it's Terry Rose. Ball loose again, another suspect pass. So Runcorn on the attack again. Rawlinson just pulled down. To the left it goes. Gibson cuts inside. Tackled. Crompton. Cogger. Cogger still. Just a yard or so short. Glinshaw. Real power play though as far as the Springfield Borough tackling is concerned. And it pays off. Runcorn forced to making a mistake on the 6th tackle. Eccles shouts, "Give it me." Give it to him, they do. Jimmy Green, the ball inside for Cliff Eccles. Again, a little bit of tension. Referee Mr. Tennant quickly in to sort matters out. And the result is a penalty for Springfield Borough. Bob Eccles settles his side down again before he attempts the kick for touch. Empson powering onto the short ball from Green. Green again. This time he sets up Bamba. And the third time he gets the ball, tries to go himself. Sixth tackle. It's a high kick, confusion. But it's going to be Chris Middlehurst who'll come up with the ball. That is until the referee's whistle goes again for a penalty to Runcorn. Glynshaw. This the best of the three games these two sides have met this season, and it's all going Springfield Borough's way at the moment. And with just over 10 minutes to go, it looks as though 2 points will be theirs. 14 points, 20 points to nil rather, they lead at the moment. Cogger hoping to change the scoreline. Rawlinson takes it a little closer to the try line. Sixth tackle though. Should imagine Runcorn will try and run it. Indeed they do. Desperate tackling, desperate passing, and Simon Bamba is the man for the desperate situation. Now Empson. Eccles again with the sweetest of kicks for touch. Sending the Runcorn Hearts into their boots with a ball that bounces out of play on the 25-yard line. It's Crompton, that's good play. It's to Rawlinson, but Steve Donlan's there to get hold of his shirt. But here come Runcorn, they've not given up just yet. Cogger. To Crompton. Plays the ball out to Glynshaw. Again, the passing towards that left wing, not as it should be. And a knock-on, says the referee. So Runcorn breaking, and Paul Durin doing very well indeed. Here's Crompton trying to improve on the break. Indeed he does, and that, I'm afraid, was a little sloppy tackling from Springfield Borough. The first time their concentration has been lacking this afternoon, and Dave Crompton immediately takes advantage, scuttling in for Runcorn's first try. Only 6 minutes or so left, though. It's no doubt too late. But points difference could mean an awful lot at the end of the season. So Borough will be angry at themselves not to have kept a clean sheet. Full credit to Dave Crompton, though. Took his try very well indeed. Substitutes Chris Middlehurst. Will attempt the conversion. Something of a drop goal expert, Middlehurst. He'll be hoping he can prove just as accurate from the dead ball situation. Indeed he does. The flags go up. So 20 points to 6. So Cliff Eccles makes his mark on the day his brother Bob makes his comeback. Cliff picking up the Man of the Match award for a very sound performance indeed. Glynshaw doing well, getting away to Crompton again. Middlehurst boot not finding touch. Donlan to Litherland. Litherland decides it's safer inside. Garner. Jimmy Green. Oh, good ball to Bamba from Eccles. But Bamba just delaying his pass a split second too long. And it goes into touch. So a case of playing out the time now for Borough. Runcorn still going though. Here's Gibson. It's a nice move. But Paul Durning's pass to Terry Rose adjudged forward. Penalty to Borough. Garner takes. Bob Eccles takes it on. Two or three Runcorn players caught offside in the centre of the field, and so a penalty to Springfield, midway between the 25 and halfway line. The sand bucket comes on. It appears that Mike Smith is kicking for goal, but the referee hasn't yet directed his touch judges behind the sticks. John Cogger points out the omission, and Mr. Tennant immediately apologises and puts wrong to right. So Smith now, chance to make it 5 goals out of 5. For the first time he's off target. Doesn't matter too much though. Borough still leading by 20 points to 6. And on my watch, only seconds left to play. A bit of injury time to add on. Here's Griffiths. Breaking forward. Borough hoping to end the match on a high note. Bob Eccles. Ball through. Here comes Empson. Ball goes loose in the tackle, but the referee looking elsewhere at the time. As Jimmy Green jinks through to Griffiths. Griffiths looking desperately for support. He's still going himself though. Well, had a man been on his shoulder then. It's Bob Eccles. To Dwayne. Back to Eccles, inside to Litherland. Litherland back to Dwayne. Dwayne tries to scoop the ball up for Garner. 6 tackle. What will we see now? Chip forward. Over the line, it bounces clear. Fortunate bounce for Runcorn, and Glyn Shaw is the man who comes up with the ball. Crompton about to move it away to his left, but the referee spots an offside. Over a minute and a half into injury time. Hooter set to go any second. And a very creditable Springfield Borough victory. Glyn Shaw. Indeed, there goes the hooter. So Springfield Borough back to form, a victory 20 points to 6 over Runcorn. The first try after just 19 seconds, scored by Ian Duane. Carl Briscoe got the second on the 51st minute. Mike Stewart then scored in the 61st minute, and 4 goals from Mike Smith, the fullback. For Runcorn, the only try of the afternoon came for them late on. Dave Crompton, the scorer, after slack defending by Springfield Borough. Too late to matter. Chris Middlehurst adding the conversion. So 2 points for Springfield Borough. They march on towards the top 4. Springfield Borough 20, Runcorn 6.